welcome to Vassals of Kingsgrave. My name is Glen, Dagos Rivers from the Podcast of Ice and Fire forums, Discord, and other channels. And today we will discuss Series 2 and Series 3 of Netflix Heartstopper. So joining me today is...
Hi, I'm DavidHHH on the Discord.
Hi, I'm Mary and Nymeria on the Discord.
Hi everyone, glad to be here.
So with Season 2, of course, the relationship between the characters is developed further, more and more of the, the cast, not the cast, but more and more of the characters, of course, get into couples. So we'll of course discuss that further, with all the relationships between the characters, and we'll discuss that through Season 2 and Season 3. I had to actually remind myself just through Wikipedia what actually happened again, because it's been such a long time ago.
Yeah.
However, of course, we did discuss back in VOK 720 Season 1. So I guess what was there anything that kept you watching?
The characters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's just
warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a very heartwarming show, and very, all of the feelings, right?
I don't know if I'd call episodes 3 and 4 all that warm and fuzzy.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. As a whole.
We'll get to that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, with this season, we did have new characters. So, of course, Nick's older brother, David. Of course, Mr. Farouk joined. James, a potential love match for Isaac. And Sahar. And then there might have been others, but I just can't remember who else. But anything stand out about the new characters for this season?
We hate the brother.
Yes. I keep wanting some sort of redemption arc for him, but it obviously hasn't happened for Season 3 either.
Yeah. I mean, you'd hope he becomes more interesting and more kind. But sometimes that's, I guess, how big brothers are, right?
They can be.
You hope they'll, be nicer and kinder, and it just never happens.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember much about Season 2, just because it was a while ago. I didn't watch it again. Yeah. But I think Mr. Farouk and that other teacher, their story, it's just, this story is really, really fun and lovely and cute. So, and I loved the way they had a story happen between the adults as well, and not just the teenagers. And you can see that it works, and that's also why this show appeals to us, because even though we're not teenagers anymore, we can still relate to all of this.
Yeah, I mean, they're just adorable together, aren't they?
They are.
Like, I particularly like how Mr. Farouk is like, the mean uncle. Not the mean, but the strict uncle, It's like the two of them to the kids are like the strict uncle and the fun uncle. They said that in some interview, and I love it. And it's very true. And, he cares about them, Mr. Farouk, but he's strict, and yet he lets his guard down with Mr. Ajayi. Not publicly, at least, not yet, but at least privately.
And fast forward to Season 3, that I loved when they're in the car and the gym teacher says to them, "Oh, the kids will think you're engaged by break time," which is it's certainly true of how rumors start in schools.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a fun moment.
With I guess. I don't know about Season 1. I haven't gone back to rewatch that, but I guess in terms of Charlie's eating disorder, we do start to get that is explored in season 2, and you see the early hints of it. And then eventually, towards the end, we learn that is what is happening. And especially in I guess when he faints during the Paris trip, that's the key to realizing how serious it is. So of course we've got, and that's further explored during season 3, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Which of course we'll discuss. I remember when I was on TikTok, season 1, it was there was tons of videos talking about Heartstopper, and they kept saying, "Oh, wait until you get to the Paris trip," or so I kept thinking that there would be something major happening, but I don't think anything really did. Obviously, we had the characters. Oh well, that Nick did, of course, try and introduce his father, and we learn about the father, the distant father. So that happened, and then I guess the key note that I have written down, or the key talking point, is that not Nick, Charlie. So Charlie has, of course, was in a relationship with Ben, or it was sort of like in secret, that, you know, it was a very abusive relationship, that he was happy in private for there to be a relationship, and then outside of that he didn't want anyone to know. And then of course there was when he pinned him against the wall, and, you know, it was, luckily he's met Nick. So of course there was Ben, and then Harry, of course, was bullying Charlie throughout series 1, and both characters did say, "I am sorry" to Charlie, and in both situations, Charlie rejected said apology. What did everyone think of that?
It felt true. You know, it felt true to me. I mean, I mean, you can tell that Ben's story is steeped in his own internalized homophobia, and certainly that's what a lot of bullying is. And I like the way that, you know, he kind of started to understand that, and then apologized and owned it, and then kind of got shunted off. And I think the character left. I don't know if there was acting issues, or if, you know, if he had to leave to do other jobs or what, but he ended up leaving, which actually kind of works for the show. I think that, like, you know, you were this mean person and we don't want you around anymore, you know. Although I do kind of like the way that Harry got kind of redemption, because I mean, he didn't really do anything other than apologize, but he's at least been, like, nice and normal, and, like, you know, that's sort of how life works, I think, with bullies too. You know, like, you realize you fucked up, you realize you were a jerk, and you were bad to people, and then you kind of still have to live with those people sometimes. And so with him, you see them, like, because this season you definitely see, like, Harry interacting with them, and even in their relationship together, you know. So and he's been seemingly supportive now. So hey, we got some redemption.
I think with this, like with a lot of things in this show, it's kind of things that you wouldn't really expect of teenagers, and that maybe aren't that plausible in teenagers. Like, I don't think many bullies apologize in this way and realize that they've been bullies while still in high school. It certainly isn't the case, like, in my experience of it. I've had people apologize to me, but, like, years and years later.
Right.
So, like, I think I enjoyed the scenes, and I think it's a good thing that the show is doing to, like, have like a good example, show a good example,
right.
And maybe it's a bit it's naive to think that it will change many things for kids watching it now, but maybe it will. So yeah, I guess my main point is that it's good to show people, and especially men, apologizing for their behavior. It's and at the same time, I think it's too early for Charlie to to take in that apology and accept it, which is completely fine. And actually, what would happen? I think. I mean, it's when it's still this raw, an apology isn't really enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was idealized, that in the case of, at least with Harry, in that he's cool now and everything. But I mean, I don't think, it was really, either apology was really completely earned, so it's completely as fair for Charlie not to accept them. But at least over time, it looks like Harry's tried to make things better. We didn't see much
absolutely.
It happened off screen, but
yeah, and that's not a I'm not criticizing the show. I think that's it's a good move to show this, to show a real apology that seems sincere, and people actually saying the words "I'm sorry," which are not that easy to pronounce in real life. So yeah, a good like with many things, they show stuff that are a little above the teenagers. What teenagers really are, probably, in terms of how in control of their emotions and self awareness they are. But I think Bina, maybe, or someone else on the chat said something like that they show the self awareness of people much older than them, but it's still, I think it works well in the show, and it's lovely to watch.
Move on to season 3, and one of the things I was going to talk about with season 2 was around parent acceptance. But I think that maybe fits better in season 3. So we have Darcy and Tara, where we did briefly see in season 2 Darcy. Yes, Darcy's mother that wasn't accepting of her being a lesbian, and then she moves out, briefly stays with Tara's parents, which is certainly fortunate that she can do that, before eventually moving in with her grandmother. So that's one, I guess, parent where it's not accepted that, of course, of her sexuality. Then I know that I've seen through, forums and Facebook, for example, that it did. What's everyone's view of Charlie's parents? Do they seem like they accept his lifestyle?
I mean, I feel like they accept that he's gay. I think that his mother has some issues. You can see from her mother, like her mother was just as bad to her. So I think, we get that whole, passing on your trauma to the next generation thing with her. But I mean, I think that she's accepting of him being gay, but she's not accepting about much else about him. It seems like she's always trying to micromanage him and like be really strict and in ways that aren't helpful to him.
But she does love him, doesn't she? I mean, that is a big category difference to some of the other parents. Like,
that's true.
I get the feeling that, I'm probably more the age of the parents in this. And I think she just probably struggles to understand and to know how to react. She obviously had a very bad childhood herself. So she's the classic case of good intentions, but really bad at expressing and knowing. I think she's just scared. My read of her in season 3 is she's scared and she's like reacting in what seems like quite an unsympathetic way, but it comes from fear and insecurity and feeling, I think, maybe that she's failed as a parent because why has her son got this eating disorder? So I kind of sympathized with her, even though she wasn't. I think it was realistic to show that not every parent's going to get it immediately. And there's something between the two poles of acceptance and rejection. There's the kind of, I accept you, but I still don't understand you, and this is going to be awkward. It's a good performance, I think, from the actress.
Yeah, I very much agree with that. I think Charlie's mother is really the parent that probably a lot of parents are, not the worst one, but not the all good accepting ones either. I think she's accepting that Charlie's gay, but she's also like, would she be that scared for him. If he was dating a girl, I don't know. The show doesn't say. It's not really asked, but it is always, I think, in these type of relationship, it's always a question, right? So not the worst homophobic, and kind of accepting, but maybe not entirely done with the kind of feelings that you get when you have to completely rethink what you thought of your child and his sexuality, which is terrible, I know, but I think probably a lot of parents go through that, and I think she's not entirely done with that journey.
And I know that I'm giving a bit too much credit for a 16-year-old, but I did think that, they had that conversation. It looked like, there was they turned a leaf that, they said that, of course, his mother said, "I'm just concerned that you've got all this schoolwork, you've got your exams. Just could you wait a bit until after your exams?" And then he goes against that.
Well, I mean, it feels like she's saying, "Can you wait a bit?" Meaning, can we not deal with this? Like, can you like? She kind of almost doesn't want him. I mean, I think she knows where they're heading in terms of intimacy, and she's scared for that, and she's just trying to put it off as much as possible. I feel like the exams are kind of an excuse and a legitimate one, and one that she can justify to herself for saying, "Okay, I don't want to deal with this now, so can we just keep?" You know what I mean? It's like kicking the can down the road.
David, you've got quite a sort of like a 80s mechanical synthy kind of undertone to your track. It's quite cool. Makes it sound like you're in Tron. It's still intelligible, but so long as you know it's. In defense of the mum, that's the kind of advice I was given just before my GCSEs by my history teacher. She said, "Girls, it's a month before exams. Stop your wenching." And she literally used that phrase.
I like that.
You've got a week and a half of exams that are going to determine your life. So do not come to me and say your boyfriend dumped you the night before your GCSEs. Halt wenching until after exams. I actually don't think it's bad advice, but I do think that the mum is probably, like you say, David, using it as an excuse to put off a conversation. I think that would be a very different conversation if it weren't the first time having gay sex, to Marie's point. But I don't think it's bad advice. Maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy, but
But we do know from
major exams, guys, just don't do major emotional hormonal shit.
But we do know from context of the show that Charlie is doing badly in his subjects, and it's because he is, distracted by Nick. So I think it is sort of warranted what she's saying.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that it's naive to think that he's going to do better if you forcibly keep him from seeing his boyfriend.
That's true.
It is good advice. Like, maybe don't have sex for the first time a week before major exams, but also it's probably going to do it anyway. So, but I mean that's coming from someone who. I don't have kids. I wouldn't know how to talk to them, so it may be easy to say.
Well, I mean, I think also that I think that Charlie's, not doing so well in school isn't so much that he's distracted by Nick, but he's distracted by, all the traumas in his life and,
true.
And his anxiety and his eating disorder and his OCD and all that stuff. I mean, I think Nick is feeding into that. But I think that, and the relationship and the stresses around that certainly feed into it. But I mean, I don't think it's like Nick that's keeping him from doing well in school. I think his messed up brain right now, which is fair.
But I think the show is doing a really good job at not showing Nick as the reason for Charlie doing badly, but the ambiguity between him feeding into his disorder and being a source of stress and anxiety, and also being a really good thing for him, which I thought was really interesting.
One thing I want to say about the parents, though, is I really do kind of like his dad, Charlie's dad, in that, he's a little awkward and uncomfortable about all this, but he's trying to be good, and I like that in him. You see, like, especially like during the bullying stuff in the first season and the second season, he definitely like steps up and tries to help, but not really knowing how.
Mhm.
And I thought that was really realistic, and I liked it. And you can even see, like, sometimes when she's going a little too far, he's like, "Hey, babe, you don't want to be going there." And knowing that she's trying, but failing really badly at times. So,
And of course, with this season, we have Charlie visiting the, I guess, therapy, some sort of consultation, something camp that we visited for 2 months to help him. What was everyone's thoughts on those scenes?
a little rough. Well, I mean, the whole episode
Mhm.
was really rough, but I mean, I thought they handled it. I don't know,
Yeah, I mean, it destroyed me. It was so
Yeah.
emotionally charged, and he was so courageous, and I don't know, it was so one of the most moving episodes of TV I've seen this year, and so beautifully acted and written.
Yeah, all of the above.
Mhm.
And at the same time, like with everything with this show, but like they don't shy away, they don't back away from the tough feelings, but it's also not dark and still a bit more dark. You have light in it. And like I think the clinic where Charlie goes is shown to actually help him
Right.
and be a nice, even though terrible at a terrible moment, but a nice environment to heal at least a little bit. So yeah, mixed feelings as always. Like it is terribly like difficult, and it's difficult to watch. But also like the tiny things like this nurse, or I don't know exactly who she was, it's not exactly said, but caretaker who he loves, and his therapist who seems to be like a really good therapist, and all of that is heartwarming still amidst all of that difficult feelings.
It helps that the therapist is played by Eddie Marzan, who's
That's true.
one of the most lovable British character actors. And if you follow him on social media, he's this amazing sort of working class guy from East London, and in real life, his views are just so wonderfully progressive and supportive. It's just, if you're a British person who knows Eddie Marzan, you bring with it some of that goodwill, and then he just doubles down with the character, and you just think, I wish every therapist were you.
Did you guys feel like the treatment episode and a half or two was a little rushed? I mean, I think one of my problems with this season when I got to the end of it is that it all felt like it moved really fast, but I think the whole story is trying to move fast. It looks like they're only doing one more season probably, and that'll be about where the books are, I guess. But it just,
Oh, is that confirmed? I didn't know that. So basically, what, they get them to university and then that's it? Is that kind of...
I believe they're talking about one more, is what they're saying, and I think that'll get to where about the books are. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
there's one more. We'll talk about that later. But there's supposedly going to be one final season of the show, and that I think will take us to where all the web comics have gone to. But there is a Nick and Charlie novella, which won't. I don't think that will be covered as part of the season.
It just, the only thing I would say is it felt like almost we got like an episode and a half of him going to treatment, and then we kind of tried to move on from it, which I don't know. It felt
I
a little
agree.
rushed. it felt a little rushed because obviously it's something that is continuing, and we saw it through the rest of the season. But it almost felt like, and I think it's just because that's like the structure of the whole series, like over 4 seasons is going to be this. But it just felt like maybe if this had been like a 10-year show, we could have had like a whole season to deal with it more. It almost felt like the 3rd episode, as awesome as it was really good, was kind of like, and today a very special episode of Heartstopper.
I did think
that's
the
what
same.
Heartstopper is a little bit.
Yeah.
I do wonder if they didn't spend too long in the treatment section to not scare people off who might be watching and
Maybe,
seeking
yeah.
help, because maybe then it
Right.
feels too daunting.
Yeah.
And because there is an element in which, yes, I mean, it's a great show. I find it really entertaining, but I think that there is a lot of reach out in this show, and sort of, yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I think as well that it's really tough to really, I think, depict what treatment for this kind of disease are. Because probably not everything is going to work with everyone, and it depends, I guess, because I don't know anything about it, but I think it depends on the patients. It depends on a lot of things. I think Charlie's eating disorder is really it's not your usual eating disorder in TV shows, because first of all, because he's a guy, and it's not exactly the thing that you're used to see. So I understand also not wanting to spend too much time on how to get better, but showing that you can get better. It feels like easier to do, and probably still a very good thing to do and show.
I thought it worked fine. It seemed a little rushed.
I agree with you, David, and I think it was more in the telling of it than in the time that was really spent on it. Like the whole going to Nick's point of view for a while, and then back to Charlie's. That felt like a new thing in the show. Or maybe I don't remember, and they did it in season 1 and 2 as well. But in the course of this season, it felt a bit like it broke the rhythm a little bit, and so that's what threw me a bit. But I also understand those choices. Like you said, it's more about the structure of the whole show and having to move through a whole year in only what 8 episodes. So yeah,
By
I
the end of the
understand.
season, I'm left feeling like, God, it's over already.
Yeah, absolutely, same. Yeah.
And going into watching season 3, I'm sure I had seen somewhere or read something that said it would be the final season, and then, not reading anything else, I just watched, season 3, and I thought, oh, they can't end it that way. But then, I mean, it's not confirmed yet, but hopefully there is a final season.
Yeah, they haven't officially announced anything, but that's what the producers are planning.
You know what's even worse? We haven't had a Rings of Power renewal yet either, which makes me really nervous.
What does it? Wasn't it? Didn't they already kind of commit to 5 seasons of that?
Of what? Rings of Power?
I thought they did.
I mean, it's said from the beginning that it's gonna be like a 5 season or 4 seasons. I don't remember.
I think I don't trust streamers. They can definitely act something if they want to, regardless of what they said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So during season 3, we've got, of course, Tao and Elle, and their relationship blossoms. They have sex. Of course, Elle joins actually, she had already started in season 2 going to that college, that art college, and going into that interview, that radio interview, I had a bad feeling about it. Just had a feeling that there was something not right about it, and of course, they used it to ask her questions, all these political type questions.
I mean, any adult who does that to anyone, but especially a child, should be thoroughly ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I'm really pleased they did it because
Mhm.
not as much as Schitt's Creek, but this show more or less sets up a world that is quite accepting. And I think is probably more accepting than the reality of contemporary London.
Mm.
And I think it is good to show on occasion the world pushing back, and therefore that you're going to have to be resilient and have your amazing friends and family and stick with your convictions and your values. But that was a tough scene to watch and quite heartbreaking.
Yeah,
But,
that
it was, but I think it was important to show it, again.
Mhm.
well, I think it also showed like some of the consequences of these discussions that happen in public when you make someone's existence a political discussion. Like growing up gay in the 80s and the 90s, I definitely can feel and her exhaustion in it. Like when it's just like, I just want to be who I am. I don't want to be like the thing we talk about, the thing, the problem, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, she's there to talk about her art, and they're like, so what's it like being trans today? What do you think about this issue? And it's like, can I just live my life? That's a
Yeah.
frustration.
But I think it was a really good scene, especially for the boyfriend. Like, actually, a lot of this season was about when you love someone, how do you support them through the stuff they're going through? And in both cases, I felt the boys stepped up, but sometimes found themselves a little bit flailing because ultimately, as much as you love that person, you can't be in it with them completely or maybe understand it. So I think it is important to show that perspective because in a way, it's showing how to be an ally. It's showing how to be a loving partner, because you can't insulate yourself from the reality of the world that it is a debate. So how do you support someone in that, right? So yeah, I thought it was handled really well. I really did.
And we love how Tao is so supportive of everyone now, in the show.
I just want Tao to get his funky haircut from season 1 back. I mean, it's so sad he's got a normcore haircut, but yeah, I like Tao.
Like, I mean, if we talk about Tao, I mean, the scene where Nick breaks down and is at the party and is on his shoulder is just that for me was almost as bad as the whole episode 3 in terms
Yeah.
of.
I also love that Tao turned up to the party, the fancy dress party, is like a character from Donnie Darko and no one knew who it was. And I was like, yes, that's who I would be. I would have some like
Right?
obscure film nerd reference and no one would
Exactly.
get. He's so well done in that respect.
It's like the time I went to a convention as Invisible Kid of the Legion of Superheroes, and no one knew who the fuck that was, but I did, and that's all that matters. Like two or three people here and there were like, "Oh, I know," like.
That's how you find your people, right?
Exactly. That's why we love conventions.
Indeed. How did you guys feel about all the drinking at some of the parties? Speaking of parties, I felt that it's a lot, right? And I'm very conscious of, in Britain in particular, we have a sort of quite a drinky culture. But I've been reading a lot of stuff recently about how actually in universities now and Freshers Week, people don't drink as much as my generation did, which is all to the good.
Right.
But nothing really bad seems to happen with the drinking.
I'm surprised they haven't made an issue of it. I was wondering if they were going there with Nick. I felt like because he was drinking a lot. Are we going there? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, just he's got a very stressful life. He's got exams. His boyfriend's going through stuff. But I wonder if that is maybe for another season. Because otherwise, I was just every party is so cool and so happy, but so drunken and yeah.
I guess we get a little bit of consequence.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's just feeling absolutely shit the next day.
Yeah.
Mary, is there a couple you want to talk about before you have to go at the top of the hour?
Well, just generally, I love them all. I agree on what you said about Elle and Tao's relationship and the whole radio interview. That's just terrible. I wonder what everyone thought about. Okay, so two thoughts. First, I loved Isaac. I think he's a great character, and I really like. Yeah, kind of understand him a bit. I mean, I'm not a sexual or a romantic, but I really, yeah, I think he's a really important character in this show, and the way even in an amazing group of friends that's really accepting, it's still not that easy to come out, or even not like sometimes you just want to be who you are and not have to deal with coming out at all. So
It is
yeah,
bad enough being the third wheel, but in his situation where everyone in his friend group
yeah,
is a couple, and he's the
that's
ninth
tough.
wheel.
Yeah.
And also knowing that you will never not be the third wheel. So,
Right.
Mhm.
you know, I've had my
That's it.
single years when I've been the third wheel, but there's hope that you're going to find someone and that won't be you anymore. And he says it a couple of times very movingly. I'm not sure how I feel about this yet and what it's going to mean for my life, but I know
Right.
this is what I am, and that he's got to somehow become articulate about his needs from his friends, because if he doesn't, that's not going away, because he's always going to be that single person. And
Yeah.
I just think it's wonderful. I don't think I've ever seen someone asexual on screen before this and Sex Education, which are both very recent. Whereas, I mean, not that there's been a massive amount of like sort of gay or trans representation either, but certainly there's been more than that. And it's not something I was hugely aware of. So I think it's really great to see that. And just even in, like you say, like a really lovely, supportive, progressive group of friends. Friends are friends, and you can still sort of mess up and not realize that you're kind of unconsciously excluding someone and being a shitty friend. And he's a great actor again. So
Yeah.
he really sold it.
Sorry. So one thing I was wondering, particularly from you ladies, is one thing, I wonder, one thing you get a lot of, criticism of anything with representation of any kind is people talking about like checking boxes and, that sort of that backlash. And I'm wondering if like with this show, I mean, pretty much every character is one of the letters of the LGBTQIA plus spectrum, right? At some point, does it feel to you guys at all like okay, like when he came out as asexual, or they started to resolve other things, at some point do you start thinking like another like
No, because like the vast majority of shows that I watch, literally everyone is straight, even if
right,
sexuality is not a theme of the show.
exactly,
So I just always took Heartstoppers to be, we're going to focus on the kids who band together because they aren't. Like,
right,
it's not like I don't think there aren't any straight couples in the school, but I don't feel the need to throw in a token gender conforming straight couple. Like, there's plenty of those stories I've been told my entire flipping life. So I'm happy to spend these episodes not doing that. But then I think it is. I think I therefore value more when you get the parent or that awful radio interviewer, because I think it shows you that there is a kind of a reality beyond that is basically gender conforming and straight, and that there are going to be those frictions. But I'm happy to spend time with these people and learn, because I am older, and it was very different when I was growing up in terms of just, I mean, there must have been asexuals around when I was young, but it wasn't even mentioned.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think so. Yeah, they definitely like tick all of the boxes, but it doesn't feel forced, and also it feels very relatable that a group of queer kids are gonna find each other, and they're lucky to be able to find each other, because that's not the case in every school you have. But it kind of makes sense, and I'm not saying queer people are only gonna be friends with other queer people, but like when you need that community, I think it's really really relatable that they find each other and stay around each other.
and interestingly they find each other before they even realize they're part of that.
Well,
like in the case of Isaac, like Isaac didn't know until just recently,
like Isaac, like Imogen, and it is relatable too. I think you find yourself because you're, in some cases, because you're allowed to find yourself. because you see people around that make you think, whoa, this is me. And so I think it's really relatable.
On the subject of Imogen, one thing I was going to say is I think that they took so much focus of this season on Charlie's eating disorder that I think on some level that pretty much all the cis women in the show kind of suffered and ended up having to take more of a back seat than they should have. And I hope that we get a little more of their stories in the third season.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll balance out when you look at the series as a whole.
Right.
Yeah, I would hope so. But I felt I got enough. I mean, we talk about this with House of the Dragons and Rings of Power. It's so hard to balance when you've got so many different protagonists and characters that we love and care about. And I genuinely did feel, I felt like, I know that was kind of the eating disorder thing was set up at the end of last season. It was definitely going to be the central story. But I felt that I had enough of everyone else woven in and that someone else will probably take center stage next season.
It was very well written as well. Like I think with Imogen, we could have had more, but at the same time, all of the little scenes we saw over the course of a year were really making sense altogether to get to that final realization. Very emotional one, I might say. For me, watching at least I don't think I've ever really liked boys, and that made it worked for me, even though I would have enjoyed more time with all of these characters, but it was very well done the way few things were interspersed throughout the season.
And a nice contrast with Charlie, who's so certain about his identity, even though he has many other issues to deal with. I think it's nice seeing the different paces and ways that people come to understand themselves, for sure. Yeah, I think it's just so well written. I can't think of another series that is just so deft at balancing things and making you feel, even if it's fleeting, like with Imogen, that you still have a good understanding of where she's at and sympathetically so.
Yeah, and I liked with Sahar how she came out of almost nowhere, and that happens in friend groups, like someone who's like on the periphery who sort of makes their way in and becomes more integral part of the story in your group. You know, because when I saw her this season, I was like, "Who's this girl? I don't even remember her." I honestly had no idea who she was. I was like, "Oh," and then I guess she has been around all this time, and I never noticed. And I think that happens in friends groups, you know.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely. One last thought, two thoughts. Okay, I'm almost done before I go. One you will, I'm sure, agree with. Jack Maddox is really hot.
Oh my god!
I know
He is the perfect man in everything he's in.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, and apart from that, I really love Tori. I think she's a fascinating character, and a really funny one in her way as well. Yeah. I'm glad she found her someone. I don't really understand.
Even if she hasn't figured out if she's found him yet.
No, but like I'm glad something clicked. Like,
well, I did read somewhere that in the stories in the book that Tori is asexual, so I don't know if maybe that will be, explored later, or if this will be, the relationship that is her relationship.
She's
but
a
I thought,
wonderful character.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And just like so much
I wish
love.
I had a sister like that.
I know. I mean, I'm an only child. I wish I had a little sister like that. I mean, like, just so quirky and loving and caring and desperate to help and just all heart. But again, one of those people who could easily go under the radar because kind of just quite quiet and it was a pleasure getting to see, like, when she finally sort of like gets that guy. I was just like, and he turns up at the party and like, who's he with? And then she just drags him upstairs. I was like, yes, you go, girl. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you that you, not that it's a guy necessarily, but just you have someone who gets you. That was a great moment.
whatever label you want to have in the
Yeah.
relationship. Maybe she's asexual but not aromantic, and
Yeah. Or maybe they're
that's
just friends, but that she has
and
someone
that's
who sees
so
her and hears
amazing.
her, and that she feels
Yeah.
that is hers and belongs to. I mean, it's just it made me so happy. Go, Tori.
Yeah.
Same.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about this show and about pretty much all the shows that we all love together is that the little characters who aren't a big part of the story can still steal your heart if they're well written. And I mean,
Of
Tori's
course.
absolutely one of them. I think she got a
Yeah.
little shortchanged all through the season, but excuse me, all through all 3 seasons. But she's coming more into her own this season a little bit, and I hope that continues next season. Love her.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
isn't she the sister we all wish we had?
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna say, just in case my actual sister listens.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So
I
how do you
also
think?
thought the contrasting Christmases. I mean, there was definitely
Oh yeah.
there was one that was like a Christmas advert of the ideal, lovely, gorgeous family Christmas, and I was like, our family Christmas is like, because it's such a big extended family, is so chaotic. I mean, they're lovely, but they are not chill. And that was just this lovely, warm. We're gonna watch a video, like a show together. And I was just like, oh my god, that is like the ideal TV ad Christmas.
Because I think the holidays are very traumatic for a lot of people in the world. For
Oh,
those
hugely,
reasons,
hugely.
you know.
I mean, cut this out, but before Philip met me, there were like 10 years where he just didn't celebrate Christmas. He sat on his own, ate cheese, and watched old films and just didn't do Christmas. So I think for a lot of people, it's hugely triggering and anxiety inducing. And there's a reason why suicide goes up over Christmas and New Year, right? I mean, yep, on that happy note.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on that happy note, but
I'm sorry, Mary, such a downer.
oh, no, that's
Dinner,
fine.
though.
No, that's sad. It's just
No problem. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn, for organizing this, and thanks, guys, for being here. It was lovely to chat about Heartstopper. Enjoy the rest of the discussion, and see you guys soon, I hope. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, Marie, I've missed you. We love you.
How do we both think that Charlie will react when Nick tells him he's going to university?
I think it's going to be very tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if the way that haven't read the books. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick ends up going close, but is so frustrated and unhappy that he drops out and then transfers to far away. But it needs to happen for both of their health, and I thought that was quite good in the relationship where the 2 girls are living together because the parents haven't accepted that she's gay, and then at some point it's like, we need some space. Like, you need to go live with your gran.
It must be tough, particularly being that young and still figuring your stuff out and living with someone full time, and like that being like going from like it being a thing I do to suddenly this is my entire life right now and I'm in the middle of it.
I think, when you're young and in love, the stakes seem so high and everything feels so intense. And that's the joy of being young and passionate and whatever. But like, you're just too young for that shit. Like, leave that to your late 20s.
Well, there's 2 points. Imogen, I agree. I loved when Imogen said, "What about when Charlie goes to university? He may want to, go somewhere long distance." They could have actually split up by that time, or Also, I did think that. So, of course, even if Nick does go to some university local distance wise, then Charlie would still be separated because Nick's no longer in school.
Yeah, it's going to be like a little bit like with Elle when she goes to a different school. Like, I mean, just any time you're not going to be in class together, it's going to be a separation. And I mean, it's so funny. There were so many, when I went to university, so many people who came with high school boyfriends and girlfriends and were, the first term, they try and keep it up long distance, and none of them made it, because the whole point of never do university choices based on where your current boyfriend, girlfriend is going. But obviously, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it provokes a relapse in Charlie and that Nick feels bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I mean, let's see how the Nick storyline goes, because it's not like, I mean, he himself said, I'm using Charlie a little bit as an excuse. Like, I've got my own issues and I don't feel I'm big enough or enough without Charlie. Right? So, I don't know.
See him come into his next.
I could watch the next season tomorrow, honestly.
Right?
I'm
Absolutely.
so ready for it. I'm so ready for it.
Absolutely.
I love this show.
I know, right? One thing I do like about the show a lot too is all the the stunt casting they have. They have so many great actors come in for just an episode or two or a few, like Annette Badland as Darcy's grandmother. As a doctor,
and Haley Atwell as the aunt was pretty
right?
badass.
Haley Atwell, exactly. Like that's
the uber cool aunt of dreams who's like so understanding.
Another one I like a lot is Rebecca Root as Elle's principal.
Yes.
She's I know her. She was actually a companion in Doctor Who audios by Big Finish of the Eighth Doctor. So she got a nice little role there. She gets a very small role, but it was interesting because having heard her so many audios, the moment I hadn't even seen her on screen, she said a few words. I'm like, that's Rebecca Root. Oh, and of course, Stephen Fry is the voice of the headmaster. Every time, I mean, he has such a distinctive voice. You hear the voice over the loudspeaker, you're like, oh. It almost takes me out.
Stephen Fry is just a national treasure now. I think he's sort of approaching that sort of Judi Dench status.
Right. Exactly.
Of just all-round awesome guy that everyone loves, or Maggie Smith.
And if you're gonna have a hot author, you can't get anyone better than Jonathan Bailey, right?
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely.
He's just too dreamy for once.
What's amazing about Jonathan Bailey is he's totally dreamy and also totally convincing, both as a gay icon, but also in Bridgerton in a totally sort of hetero role, like a straight role. It's kind of, he really crosses both or can act both.
Good act.
Just so flipping good looking.
Right.
Actually, I quite like the guy who plays Colin Bridgerton as well. They're all very good looking in fairness. Not Colin. Benedict, the one who's about to have his story.
Benedict, yeah.
Yeah, Colin.
They're all
yeah.
Oh, we never did give lemon cake.
All the lemon cakes.
I was going to say all of them. 72 lemon cakes.
Yeah, 72 out of 5. That's how many lemon cakes.
Exactly.
There was a cast photo that they done, which I thought was very good. Wrapping season 3, and they had all their flags, what they represent, so what their character represents. So then you had the asexual, the aromantic, gay, lesbian, etc. flags, which I thought was very good. And
oh my God, we didn't mention the teachers.
Had been.
Can we mention the teachers? Can we mention the teachers before we go?
Yes.
Mr. Farouk. Can we talk about how radically, awesomely brilliant it is to have a really stylish Muslim man of colour on British TV who's entirely a force for good, who isn't a terrorist, who isn't anything bad, and who is gay and who's in a mixed race relationship, and who, when the kids come into his class, there's one really classic line where, they're just all being slovenly teens. He's like, tuck your shirt and you're representing Farouk now. And I just thought, this
He's
just
so
makes me so happy. He's so sweet. He's so positive. And when, they're found out and then they let Charlie and Nick have lunch with them so that he doesn't feel himself. I mean, it's just, people talk about positive male role models on TV.
Right.
And I think for the Muslim population of this country, gets a lot of shit, and he is just representing in the best way. So,
and I think the two of them as a couple are just so adorable, and they feed off each other so well.
Yeah.
And they're kind of both ends of the spectrum of how you treat kids and whatever. Yeah. Like I said, they have an interview where they talk about the strict uncle and the fun uncle, and they are totally both perfectly that. Yeah.
Oh, Bina, have you watched Femme?
No. What is it? Where is it?
It's very good. Just I mention it because Mr. Farouk has a small not a cameo, but just he's got a very small scene within it. It's about George Mackay is in it. He's this guy that's supposedly straight and beats up forgotten the actor, but beats up another guy who's in trans makeup. Like he's a drag queen, so he beats him up. But then later on, they form a relationship, and the other guy's trying to get revenge on George Mackay.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, I will check it out. British back film. I will definitely check it out. Oh, played Berlin in 2023. Okay, on the list. When it comes out in cinemas, I think it would be really interesting to do a VOC if people want to on the film Emilia Perez, because it's a trans-centered story in Mexico, and it's the first one where the entire so it's 4 major female leads. One of them's a trans woman, but also Zoe Saldana, Selena Gomez in it. And all of them got nominated for Best Actress at Cannes and won. And it won, did it win Best Film or Second Best Film? And everyone's saying that, sorry, she's going to be nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars, which would be very well deserved, which would be a first if she is nominated, and obviously if she won. But again, it's like really interesting to me because it's a film set in like Mexican drug cartel culture, featuring like the story is that Emilia Perez, I mean, I'm not revealing anything, this is the first 5 minutes, that it's this big Mexican, like hardcore gangster, super successful, married with kids, and married to Selena Gomez with kids, but wants to be a woman, so hires Zoe Saldana, who's the lawyer, to go and find somewhere where he can have the surgery and hide away the family, because obviously in that sort of toxic, hyper masculine culture, his new identity as Emilia Perez is not going to be accepted. But it's a musical, it's hilarious, but it's moving, but it's action, but it's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like every genre and no genre. I'm not saying that every part of it is successful, it's a bit all over the place. But I just think it's doing something and centering something that you don't often see in big films. Like, this is a really big film, and it's going to be up for major Oscars. And yeah, if you guys,
is it in theaters now or streaming or?
Let me just check. It's coming out soon because I'm seeing ads everywhere. So, Emilia Perez release. Oh, it's going to be on Netflix. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
It's going to have a limited theatrical release in USA on 1st of November and Netflix 13th. It's probably, if you can see it in a cinema, do, because it's big song, it's big musical numbers. But yeah, Netflix 13th Nov. So
add that to my list of things to look for.
Me too.
I mean, it's utterly nutty. But
and if we're giving recommendations on LGBTQ stuff, if you love Jonathan Bailey, Fellow Travelers is awesome. We never got to talk about
it. Yes, I watched that, and no one else I knew was watching it.
Yeah, I don't think it got enough buzz, but it did get a good amount of buzz, but not enough. And it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really classy show. It's a bit like watching The Americans. It's sort of, I never know really why certain shows get so buzzed about. Like, I get that Succession is really, really good, but there are shows like The Americans and this Fellow Travelers, which I think, why are more people not talking about this? This is amazing. I'll talk about it with you. I think I've forgotten it. I'd have to rewatch it. But
I know, me too. But it was so good.
Yeah. Oh, this was amazing. I love this show so much.
I know,
Is
right?
it a big hit for Netflix? Does it get like really massive views?
It's not massive, but I think the season 3 was watched. They measure it in views, how many people watched the entire show, the entire season. I think it was 4.5 million views.
That's pretty good
on the first week.
Yeah, I think I watched it in like 2 days.
Yeah, exactly.
I just inhaled it. I tell you what, at the other end of the television spectrum, so totally politically incorrect, totally 1980s, totally, just abominable, Rivals on Disney Plus is just hilarious. I'm ingesting that at the moment. Takes you back to a dark time of the 80s, but the music and the fashion was just so brilliant, and I'm just really enjoying all the blatant sort of bare-assed rumpy pumpy. It's just so great. Highly recommended, but not at all LGBTQIA. I mean, the most like sort of, yeah, it was a different time, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think Heartstopper, it definitely has a huge online presence. And I feel like it's one of those things that, like, kind of like Star Trek was 20 years ago, and that not a lot of people have watched it so much, but enough. And those who watch it absolutely love it. Like, I
Are
think
we
it's
unusual in our age bracket? Because, I mean, presumably this is intended at young adult. It's probably intended for the age group that it stars.
right.
And I feel that when I watch it, I'm almost watching it to educate myself on, stuff and try and not be like from my 80s education, stuck in that time. Are we the minority, though, to be watching it outside of the cohort, so to say?
Probably. But I mean, I definitely see lots and lots and lots of young people posting about it. And it feels like one of those shows that's like important. You know what I mean?
Good. I'm so pleased to have it.
Like, I mean, if you're ever on like Facebook or other social media and you like click on even one thing about Heartstopper, that'll be like your entire feed for a week. Because like people
Oh, okay.
they absolutely love it. You'll see stuff everywhere because I'm definitely getting stuff about it after clicking a couple of times.
Very cool. Okay. Well, this was amazing. Thank you very much. And the archive god smiled upon us because it's been down for 2 weeks, but it's back up for this. So yay.
Well, thanks for joining the discussion, and thanks for everyone that listened. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Glenn, for editing.
Do you want to do it where you
No
can
problem.
find us? So,
Oh, yeah. That's so I guess you can find us on vokpodcast.com. And of course we have Twitter, several different channels, Discord. How would someone find us on Discord? Is it
if they go to wordpress.com or go to our YouTube page, there's a link there.
YouTube? Yeah.
Thank you for doing this, Glenn. Great to talk to you guys again.
Good to
You
talk to
too.
you. That's fine.
Speak
Bye,
to you all
everyone.
soon. Bye.
Love you guys. I have to spend the whole day reinstalling everything on my computer now.
Oh, I'm sorry, David. Best of luck with that. I hope it works.
It's going to be a huge process, but hopefully it all goes nice and smoothly and I'll have a nice clean computer again.
Okay. Bye.
Have a good night, guys.